Hello. Today, I will tell you about a case that occurred in the Tokyo capital area in Japan. A mysterious murder of a supermarket employee took place after working hours at night. After almost 30 years of investigation, the police still have not found the culprit. Despite the perpetrator leaving behind many clues, the police have been unable to identify the murderer. This case has become one of the most mysterious and bizarre cases in Tokyo. It is the Hachioji supermarket case. The location of the incident is the city of Hachioji, Tokyo. Hachioji is part of the metropolitan area of Tokyo, located 40 km west of the city of Tokyo. It covers an area of 186 square kilometers and has a population of 500,000 people. There is a supermarket here named Ampei, with the staff including Nadeko Inagaki, 47, who manage the night shift for the supermarket, and two part-time employees, Mugomi Jabuki, 17, and Hiromi Maeda, 16, both of whom were classmates. First, let's look at the surroundings of the supermarket. This is the entrance to the supermarket. The first floor is the supermarket, and the second floor houses the supermarket's office. The side entrance of the supermarket can lead to the main entrance, which is much larger than the back door. Most customers enter and exit through the main entrance, while some who drive prefer the side entrance for convenience. Unexpectedly, one night in July 1995, disaster suddenly struck the three female employees in the store. So, what happened that day? Who acted against the three of them? Next, let's turn back time to July 30, 1995. July 30, 1995 was a Sunday. At 4:46 p.m., Jakie Sambuki, year-old supermarket employee, arrived at the supermarket to work her evening shift. Her home was very close to the supermarket, taking only a few minutes to get there. Working the evening shift with Jabuki was Inagaki, 47, the night shift manager of the supermarket. Inagaki was dropped off at the supermarket by a male acquaintance, referred to as A, just before 5 p.m. The two had planned to go to a bar after their shift in the evening. According to the schedule, Jabuki and Inagaki would work from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., a total of 4 hours. Their main job was cashiering. The supermarket had a total of 3 cash registers, but due to the low number of customers in the evening, only 2 registers were opened. At 6:30 p.m., the number of customers in the supermarket suddenly increased because there was a festival nearby celebrating the upcoming Obon festival. This is a Buddhist festival in Japan aimed at honoring parents and ancestors. Every year, on the eve of the festival, there is a summer night event. People gather to sing, dance, and play drums. The event began at 6:30 p.m. and ended at 9 p.m., coinciding with the supermarket's closing time. Planned for the end of the event was a spectacular taiko performance, attracting many residents to attend. The festival was held at Kitanamaru Park, which was only 50 meters away from the supermarket. It's just a short walk from the supermarket to the park. Therefore, more people came to the supermarket to shop than usual. At 6:50 p.m., another employee, Maeda, 16, arrived at the supermarket. Although she was a year younger than Jabuki, they were classmates. That day, she and Jabuki had planned to watch the exciting taiko performance. So Maeda came to the store to hang out and wait for Jabuki. At 8 p.m., the number of customers had dwindled, and manager Inagaki closed one of the cash registers and took the money box upstairs to the office, on the second floor to reconcile accounts before they were supposed to go out. The first and second floors of the supermarket are not connected internally. To reach the second floor, one needs to go out the side door at the back. Outside is a staircase that leads to the second floor. Let's look at the layout of the office on the second floor. This is the position of the stair door, the only way in and out of the office. Inside is a small reception area. Next are two desks in the office area. Beside them is the storage area, including some filing cabinets and office supplies. The rest is the changing room and restroom. The most important item here is the safe. At that time, there was no online payment or card swiping. Customers at the supermarket had to pay in cash. Thus, the supermarket received a lot of cash daily, which was stored in the safe. At 9 p.m., the supermarket closed. Jabuki took the money box from the cash register to the second floor for reconciliation, while her 16-year-old friend was already in the second floor office waiting for her. At that time, activities in the nearby park were nearing their end. The final taiko performance had begun, and the drum sounds echoed throughout the park. At 9:07 p.m., the park activities officially ended. Hundreds of residents started heading home because business was good at the supermarket that day. It took a lot of time to count the money. The two girls, Jabuki and Mada, ultimately missed the taiko performance. Manager Inagaki completed the reconciliation and stored the money in the safe. After that, she called for the male acquaintance A to pick her up from the office phone. 5 minutes later, A was present in the supermarket's parking lot. He waited for 25 minutes but still did not see her come down. 9:45 p.m. due to the long wait. A thought that Inagaki had already gone to the favorite bar to wait for him. Therefore, he drove straight to the bar without going upstairs to look for her. When A arrived at the favorite bar and asked the owner, he was told that Inagaki had not arrived yet. He found this a bit strange. Could Inagaki still be in the office? A and the bar owner were close friends. As a result, A asked the bar owner to go with him to the supermarket to look for Inagaki. 10:03 p.m. A arrived at the supermarket and parked in the rear lot. He asked the bar owner to call Inagaki down for him, as it was inconvenient for him to go up. Afterward, the bar owner went upstairs alone to the office on the second floor. She knocked on the door but received no response. The bar owner turned the doorknob and discovered the door was unlocked, so she gently pushed it open. She found that no one was inside. The reason the bar owner saw nothing was because a cabinet by the entrance blocked her view inside. Out of courtesy, she stood outside and did not enter. Seeing this, the bar owner immediately told A about the situation and called him up. When they stepped inside, they were stunned by the scene before them. They saw bloodstains scattered all over. 3 female staff members were lying motionless on the floor. Seeing this, they quickly ran outside to report to the police. The police immediately arrived at the scene after receiving the report. At the scene, in the middle of the office, they found 2 young women, Jabuki and Mada, lying on the ground. Their mouths were covered and their hands were bound together with tape. Both had been shot in the back of the head. Manager Inagaki was found to the left of the safe. She was sitting on the floor, back against the wall, and had been shot twice in the head. All three had died. At the scene, there were many bloodstains but no bloody footprints. The police believed that the perpetrator had deliberately avoided stepping in the blood on the ground after committing the crime. However, they did recover 10 shoe prints outside the bloodstains. The 10 prints were from the same person, with a shoe size of 26 seam, not belonging to any supermarket employee. The shoe soles were manufactured by a rubber factory in Hiroshima. Those shoe soles were used for 30 different types of athletic shoes. With over 500,000 pairs produced and sold across Japan, tracking them was very difficult. Additionally, within the shoe prints, the police found small amounts of other substances including clay, moss, and fine iron powder. The fine iron powder suggested that the perpetrator might have worked in a welding shop or metal casting factory. Several fingerprints were extracted from the tape roll. These fingerprints did not belong to anyone in the store. On the tape roll, the DNA of a man was also found. It is speculated that these fingerprints and DNA were left by the perpetrator. A bullet hole was found on the safe door, but there was no sign of it being opened. The key was still in the safe, and the combination was written on a note next to it. In theory, the perpetrator could easily open the safe and take the cash inside. However, strangely, the 5.226 million yen cash in the safe remained intact, and the personal belongings of the 3 victims were not taken. According to the forensic examination, the cause of death for all 3 was gunshot wounds to the head. The time of death was estimated to be between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. Based on the bullet characteristics, the police stated that the perpetrator used a .38 caliber revolver. The gun was manufactured by a company in the Philippines and is extremely rare in Japan. It is speculated that organized crime groups might have purchased the gun from the black market, also not ruling out the possibility of a foreigner involvement. The gun had poor performance and accuracy, but the perpetrator's method was very professional. Therefore, it can be deduced that the perpetrator was very knowledgeable about firearms. Based on the scene's condition, it did not appear to be a robbery, as no assets were lost. Therefore, this must be a case of revenge or a personal dispute. The 2 young employees were 16-17 years old, making it highly unlikely they were the targets. The 47-year-old store manager had complicated relationships. Additionally, she was the only one shot twice in the head, making her more likely the intended target. Shortly after, a couple provided a clue to the police. They mentioned hearing 5 unusual noises while passing by the supermarket at 9:17 p.m. At the time, they thought it was fireworks from a celebration, so they did not pay much attention. The police realized that the perpetrator had been present at the scene and fired a total of 5 shots, matching the 5 sounds the couple heard. Thus, 9:17 p.m. might be the time when all 3 were killed. This was 2 minutes after the manager called A. At the time, A was present at the parking lot, which was 9:20 p.m., just 3 minutes after the couple heard an unusual noise at the supermarket. Therefore, A also became a suspect. Strangely, he went straight to the bar after waiting downstairs for 25 minutes without going back up to find the manager. Secondly, when he arrived at the bar and discovered the manager had not arrived yet, he asked the owner to go search with him. It's odd that he would ask a busy bar owner to help look for someone. Thirdly, when A and the bar owner returned to the supermarket, they did not go upstairs together, but let the bar owner go up alone first. This behavior seemed to be an attempt to avoid being the first to find the crime scene. Later, A explained that because the bar was filled with women, and as a man, it would be inappropriate for him to enter, so he asked the bar owner for help. Considering Japanese culture, his explanation seemed reasonable, and thus the police excluded him from the list of suspects. Additionally, his characteristics did not match the evidence left by the perpetrator at the scene. Furthermore, no motive for him to commit the crime was found. Subsequently, 2 witnesses provided clues to the police. One of them mentioned that at 5:30 p.m., he saw a man wearing a white shirt and gray trousers wandering around the supermarket and occasionally looking inside. The other witness stated that 8:30 p.m., she saw a man around 50 years old entering and exiting the supermarket multiple times without buying anything. Then, the police investigated the backgrounds of the 3 victims and found out that the manager, Nagaki, had only been working at the supermarket since July 11. At the time of the crime, which occurred on July 30, she had only been working there for a month. The police discovered that her relationships were quite complicated. Previously, she had worked as a bartender and had some connections with the underworld. Moreover, she had an affair with the supermarket's owner. In the supermarket, besides the owner, only Nagaki knew the safe's code. Later, the police found the owner, who said there were 4 surveillance cameras on the first and second floors of the supermarket, and the footage was stored for several months. However, for some unknown reason, the storage system had been turned off a few days before the incident. The police suspected the supermarket owner of being involved, but he naturally denied it. They followed him for many years, but found no evidence, so this lead also reached a dead end. In 2007, there seemed to be a new turn in the case. A man named Takeda Teruo was caught selling drugs in China and arrested by the Chinese police. Due to the large quantity involved, he was sentenced to death in 2007, facing imminent execution. He wanted to offer some information to the police to mitigate his punishment. He claimed to know some information about the perpetrator of the 1995 murder in a supermarket in Hagio City. Upon learning this, the Chinese police contacted the Japanese authorities, and the Japanese sent investigators to look into it. The man said he knew a Chinese national named F who had been deported from Japan for illegal entry in 1994. In 1995, F forged a passport and re-entered Japan. Afterward, he joined a local underground organization. The man suspected that F was the one who carried out the murders at the supermarket. The Japanese police quickly located F and questioned him about the HGOZ supermarket case. Naturally, F did not admit any involvement. The Japanese police found no additional information through their investigation because the investigation he was involved with was only focused on making money and was heavily guarded. Additionally, no money was stolen in the incident, leading to another dead end. In January 2009, during a different case, the police discovered that the characteristics of the bullets found were similar to those from the Hachioji supermarket case. They speculated that the bullets came from the same gun. The man using the gun was a member of the underworld. He stated that the gun was purchased on the black market and had previously been used by the Japanese underworld. Thus, the police concluded that the gun had changed hands many times, making its origin untraceable. After a long investigation, the police had officially investigated countless suspects and offered a massive 6 million yen reward for any leads from the public, but still could not find the killer. By 2015, the Japanese police compared fingerprints found at the crime scene with those of more than 10 million criminals in their database. Unexpectedly, they discovered that one man's prints matched the suspect's at 8 points. That fingerprint belongs to a 60-year-old truck driver who lived in the Tama area of Hachioji City. Essentially, the police concluded that the two fingerprints belonged to the same person. However, according to Japanese criminal law, to assert that two fingerprints are from the same person, 12 matching features must be satisfied. Therefore, it could not be proven that the fingerprint of the aforementioned man and the perpetrator are from the same individual. Additionally, the man passed away in 2005. The police extracted DNA from his family and discovered that it was completely different from the DNA left at the crime scene. As for the fingerprint, it is speculated that he might have touched a roll of tape in a store in the year it happened, and that roll of tape was then purchased by the perpetrator. This means that the fingerprint left on the roll of tape at the crime scene might not have been left by the perpetrator. 28 years since the incident occurred, Japanese police have been tirelessly searching but have yet to find the culprit. Outside the parking lot of the Hachioji supermarket, there's still a police reward notice offering up to 6 million yen. They still hope that someone can provide useful clues. As time goes by, the hope of solving the case seems to diminish, and it has become one of the unsolved cases in the history of Japanese crime. We don't know what the perpetrator looks like or where they came from. What was the goal and motive of the perpetrator? What happened in that dark office night? We hope that in the future, we will soon learn the truth to bring justice to the deceased. Today's video ends here.